Welcome to episode 3 of CTS. We did miss the last 2 weeks, so we're going to pick up and talk about week 8 and week 9 of the college football season to start this off. Um, First game is Ole Miss, Georgia. One of a very high scoring game. Ole Miss grabs their first loss. They had the lead at the very beginning, ended up losing. Georgia just came out of half and looked better. Both teams are 6-1. And Georgia won at home. What's your thoughts on that game?
Um, Georgia played good. Ole Miss played decent. Knew Georgia was going to win that game. I knew Kirby Smart wasn't going to have two losses going in this early in the season. So that's why I always pick Georgia. I think Georgia is a better team anyways. And Gunnar Stockton played good, so that's why I had Georgia winning that game. And I think Georgia's going to be a hard team to beat in the playoffs. They just some reason cannot beat Alabama.
Yeah, moving on to another SEC game. Alabama at Tennessee. Joey Aguilar and Tennessee dropped their second game to Bama. And it was close until it wasn't. So I think Bama, like I said about Georgia, came out and made great adjustments. They were giving everybody the ball. And then after a while, they just took over.
Yeah, I had Alabama winning that game as well. Ty Simpson's looked good all year. Kalen DeBoer is a very good coach, especially this season. Last season they had a little off year, but it was his first year coaching and everything. And this season it looks like they figured it out. Besides the loss against Florida State week 1, but that's just week 1, so they've cleaned a lot of things up. They beat South Carolina last week as well. It was a little shaky, but at the end of the day they got it done. And I think Alabama is going to be is a very good team and is a possible natty contender.
Yeah, moving on. We got Arizona State knocking off the number 7 team at the time, Texas Tech. I was right about Texas Tech. I always said I didn't think they were a great team. They ended up getting knocked off by Arizona State, which Arizona State ended up getting knocked off by Houston. Thoughts?
Texas Tech, I knew they weren't a good team. I mean, they're a good team, but I knew they weren't as good as everyone made it sound. I didn't think they were going to lose. I didn't think they were going to drop that game. I thought they were going to drop maybe another game, but I mean, I'm not really that surprised. Texas Tech really hasn't played anybody all year, so that's kind of the way I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, last week 8 game we'll be talking about here. LSU at Vandy. Vandy finally proves they're a great team, or a respectable team that should be in the playoff, at least conversations.
Vanderbilt is a solid team. The only loss they have is Bama, which Bama is a very good team. They look dominant against Missouri. They look dominant against LSU. LSU just fired their head coach after this loss, which is kind of crazy, but Brian Kelly isn't really. I don't really think he's meant for LSU, to be honest. He hasn't been. He can't really recruit. I mean, he can recruit a little bit, but they just never. They're like always in the top 15, top 20, but they can never win that game. He's kind of like a James Franklin a little bit, and yeah, I had Vanderbilt winning that game, and yeah, Diego Pavia is a very good quarterback, and he could win the Heisman. I would say no, but he's a top 5 contender definitely.
Yeah, first game we talking about is week 9. One of the biggest rivalries, if it's still a rivalry in college football. Michigan knocks down Lil Bro. They beat MSU for the 4th year in a row at MSU again. They kind of did it all on the ground. It was Marshall and Haynes both had above 100 yards, and they just pressured Childs a lot and got the win with the one or two early turnovers.
Yeah, I had Michigan winning that game. I'm not gonna lie, Bryce Underwood did not play that good. He only threw for like 80 yards, 0 touchdowns. I mean, they didn't really need him because they just ran all over Michigan State's defense. Michigan, I feel like Michigan State kind of got screwed with a couple calls, I'm not going to lie. I mean, Michigan was going to win that game either way. But I don't feel like Michigan looked really that good against a crappy Michigan State team. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, moving on to the game with probably the most headlines of Week 9, Texas A&M at LSU. A&M's offense looked like the best in the league. Marcel Reed with 2 turnovers, but he looked that guy's Marcel Reed's a beast. Him and Kevin Concepcion together are broken, especially with Craver. But LSU fire Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly, the first LSU coach in almost forever to not win a national championship within 4 years.
But A&M's dominant. They haven't lost a game. I think they are better than Indiana. I think honestly it would go Ohio State, A&M, and then Indiana. But they're really close. But they've had good wins. Notre Dame. They beat Notre Dame. They just beat LSU. They've had good wins. And Marcel Reed's looked really good. He's also like a top 5 contender for the Heisman. So that's my thoughts on that one.
Yeah. Another huge topic this week. Missouri versus Vandy. Prbula gets hurt. It looks like he's out for probably, or I think the whole year. Vandy gets the dub 17-10. Pavia didn't look good, but he did enough to pull out and put Vandy in the top 10.
Oh yeah, Vandy's a very dominant team. I think they're going to make the playoffs this year. They've looked very good besides the Alabama game. They still didn't look that bad. It's not a bad loss. They have a really hard schedule, but I think Vanderbilt will make the playoff. I don't think they're going to make really that much of a run in the playoff. I hope they do, but I think they will make the playoffs, and they've looked pretty solid.
Yeah, last recap game here. Oklahoma at Ole Miss. Ole Miss gives Mateer and the Sooners their second loss of the season, making them probably have to win out with nothing but hard games upcoming for Oklahoma. It was a pretty great game from Trinidad, and then his wide receiver Watkins and the running back Lacey. It didn't look bad, but didn't look too good.
Um, I think that Ole Miss was the better team. Oklahoma hasn't really played really good until since Mateers came back, they haven't really been playing good. And I don't think that Oklahoma will. At the beginning of the year when Mateer was playing really good and they beat Michigan, I thought they were going to be a top 5 team. Mateer got hurt, came back. I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs anymore.
All right, we're gonna move to MLB for a little bit. Something we haven't talked about, which has probably been the biggest problem. Great World Series going on right now. Dodgers are actually down, which has surprised a lot of people. But one of the main games we want to talk about here is 18 innings, one of the craziest World Series ever. Freddie Freeman walks it off back to back. 2 years in a row, he's hit a walk off in a World Series. But Blue Jays have won the last 2 games with 6-6, and they play in Toronto again tomorrow.
It's been a crazy World Series. Honestly, I didn't think the Blue Jays had a chance, but they've been fighting, and it's kind of a weird way how their manager is doing it because the Blue Jays manager, well, not in a weird way. It's a smart way. It's kind of annoying if you want to watch the game because they're just intentionally walking Shohei Ohtani. Basically, every time he goes up to the plate, just because he's that good of a player, and they don't want him to hit a home run or whatever, so they're just putting him on first base. It's just kind of annoying, but it's been working out for them. Ohtani's been pitching really good, and I still think the Dodgers will win the World Series though.
All right, in the last little bit of this episode, we're going to talk about our predictions for this week of college football. Give me 5 seconds. Cut this out. All right, first game we'll be talking about Vandy at Texas. Texas favored by 3.5, even though Vandy's the number 9 team.
I got Vanderbilt. So that means Texas will not cover that spread. Vanderbilt is healthy right now. I don't know. I'm not 100% if Arch is playing or not. He was in concussion protocol. Even with Arch, they've looked way too shaky, and I have Vanderbilt winning that game.
Yeah, I agree. I don't even think they've looked great with Arch. I think they're just managing and get by games, whether he's looked good or not. I think Vandy wins, and I think Vandy wins in pretty good fashion. Next, we got Georgia at Florida. Georgia only favored by 7.5 going into the swamp, and Florida has the money line.
I have Georgia winning that game. I have Georgia covering that game. Florida's been way too shaky with DJ Lagway. Gunnar Stockton's looked good his last couple starts. Kirby Smart's not dropping this game, and I think they're going to win by 14 points.
Yeah, I got Georgia covering the spread too. I don't really see a world where DJ Lagway in Florida if he pulls this one off. So, moving on to the next one, Oklahoma at Tennessee. Both teams 6-2. This is probably a playoff game eliminator for these teams. Tennessee favored by 2.5 at home.
I have Tennessee winning. I have Tennessee covering that spread as well. Oklahoma's looked, their defenses look pretty solid, but their offenses look terrible since Mateers got back. I don't think Tennessee loses this game, and I think Oklahoma doesn't make the playoffs, especially because of this loss.
Yeah, I think Tennessee gets it done and probably eliminates Mateer in Oklahoma, and they'll move on, probably jumping in the playoffs. Last two games we got here, USC at Nebraska. USC favored by 4.5. I think USC walks into Nebraska and uh, beats them pretty good. I think USC has a great chance to win out and make the college football playoffs.
Oh yes, I think USC covers that, wins that game, and covers that spread. USC is a very good team. I don't know why the college football committee and whoever makes the AP poll doesn't really like them because this week they're finally ranked, but the week before that they weren't ranked, and Michigan got ranked over them when they dominated Michigan, beat Michigan State. They lost to Notre Dame. Okay, they have two losses, but Illinois is not a bad football team. Notre Dame is definitely not a bad football team. And USC dominated Michigan, and I think that USC is a good football team. They'll walk in this game, win this game, and might even make the college football playoff. Or not win the college football playoff, make the college football playoff.
Yeah, next we got another probably playoff game eliminator, a Big 12 matchup here. Cincinnati at Utah. Utah favored by 10.5 at home, even though Cincinnati is 17.
I have Cincinnati covering the spread, but I have Utah winning this game. Cincinnati's been good, Utah's been pretty good, but I don't know. There's just a feeling that I feel like Utah will win this game, but I don't think they're going to cover. I think it'll be a field goal.
Yeah, I feel like I got Cincinnati. I know it's kind of an upset, even though they're ranked higher. I feel like Cincinnati's played great ever since their ever since their Nebraska loss week 1. Utah does have a good two losses to Texas Tech and BYU, and they did just destroy Colorado and Arizona State, but I think Cincinnati pulls it off at Utah. And that'll recap episode 3. Next week will be our first college football playoff predictions, who we think will make the college footballs as of right now in the season, and World Series recap.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.